Hi there and welcome to this bonus episode of the Gazette's Hockey Inside Out Show. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette and I'm joined by my regulars here. You know these guys, former Canadiens teammates and 1986 Stanley Cup champs Chris Nilan and Rick Green. Guys, a big turning point in the season last year for the Canadiens was when they acquired defenseman Alexandre Carrier from Nashville a week before Christmas. This season, though, he's struggling. He was minus 10 for the season, heading into Wednesday's game against the Winnipeg Jets. Rick, you're the former defenseman, former defensive coach with the Canadiens. What do you think the problem has been with Carrier this season?
Well, I think that, due to injuries, getting called upon a little more than probably what he should be playing, is averaging 19 minutes a game and used in a lot of, critical situations. And he's the first one to say that he has to get better and play better in his overall game and shore up what gives him the opportunity to be effective on the group, and that's to be dependable defensively. And, with some of the breakdowns that they're having as a group, he's getting exposed a little bit. So he has to maybe take a step back and realize, let's shore up my defensive game. Let's try and be a little more effective on that part, and then the rest will come. But, he's a great kid. Unfortunately, he's struggling a little bit like everybody does back there. And they're always the ones that get exposed when it comes to highlighting mistakes as a group. But he'll find his way back, and I'm hoping for him. But I think the bottom line here is they're asking a lot of him. He's playing a lot of minutes, and maybe it's not in the best interest of him as a player and as a group to be effective, calling on him to play that much.
What are your thoughts, Knuckles, on Carrier?
Yeah, he's struggling. I look at ever since he got hit last year in the playoffs, and he got hit a couple times this year, pretty good too.
Tom Wilson.
Yeah, and he's 5'11", but he's listed at 174. He's not a big kid. Mm-hmm. So when the game gets gritty on the wall, and I'm not saying he's not willing, he's willing, but when you're playing against some of those big forwards who are good on the boards and strong, and it's tough to get the puck from them, it's tough to defend against them. And you got to be able, when you're in front of the net, and Greeny knows, you got to be able to box guys out. And the smaller you are, the more difficult it is. You got to be better with your stick. You got to be better hockey sense. Those things. You got to be able to, we were just talking about Markov with his stick. But when you're smaller like that, you have to defend with this thing up here more than your body. Yeah, you got to get in the way, but boy, you can get overpowered and lose position easily. So I think he's struggled in that area, no question, this year. And he may be asked to do a little more with the injuries. Certainly the Gooley being out doesn't help, but yeah, it's a tough one.
He is fearless, though, for his size, Rick. I mean, I asked him about the Tom Wilson hit last year in the playoffs, and he said, I knew somebody was coming. I didn't know it was Tom Wilson. That's my fault. Like, I should have realized who it was. But he's also been changing partners quite a bit, Rick. Can that factor into it also?
Yeah, I mean, the guys back there, they like to, set up with a partner that they regularly play with, whether it be, 5-on-5 or penalty killing situations. And, not using that as an excuse because you can't. You have to perform when given the opportunity no matter what. But, you talk about his size and you talk about the system that they play. And if they're going to play a man-on-man and he's got to go up against some of these big forwards, it's a challenge for a guy of that size to try and contain the big bodies and, win more one-on-one battles versus losing. And we're probably seeing a little bit of on the losing side on the one-on-one battles that's resulting in, giving up scoring chances against. And, they have to improve on that. And, I'm sure that they're being told, exactly what they need to do to get better.
Well, Knuckles, he was consistent for a real long time. I mean, he didn't have many bad games last season at all. I mean, the Canes were way out of a playoff spot when he came in. He helped them get into the playoffs. I know it was Jacques Lemaire. Was it 1 out of 10 games he would tell you were allowed to have an off game? 1 or 2? What was it?
Yeah. Every 10 games, you can have one bad one.
Yeah.
And, again, that's when you look at the schedule and all that stuff, how difficult it is. And especially this year with the Olympic year, everything's crammed in. But everybody's going through it. So, listen, I get that. In that 1 in 10, I'd like to say I held myself to that standard, but even that's difficult. You're going to have a couple nights there that aren't good, but it gave me something to shoot for. You have a bad game, you had a bad game, you got to bounce back. You can't get on the pity pot and oh my God, really, get off the cross. We need the wood, enough's enough.
I think, though, fans don't. I mean, it's such a grueling schedule, as you guys mentioned, even more so this year with the Olympics. Every player's going to have off nights. Knuckles, when you were playing, did you, early in a game, do you know it's a night, oh man, maybe I just don't have it tonight? I
knew in the warm-up. There were times skating around the warm-up, I used to, where are my legs? And I would skate around the neutral zone there, keep going. I'm like, God, they're not coming. They're not coming. And then, there were nights I felt like that, and I got in the game, I was okay, but it gets in, when you don't feel as sharp physically, it's in your head, and you try and battle through it. You got to go do something. And a lot of times when I felt like that, I just go on and start a fight. That was the best, because then I could go take a seat for 5 minutes and rest up, and hopefully I come out and feel better.
Well, I wouldn't suggest Carrier does that. But, Rick, you were assistant coach of the Canadiens for a long time in charge of the defense. If you were there in that position right now and you were to pull Carrier aside, what would you say to him?
Well, I think, like any defenseman that struggles, you can't get overwhelmed with your overall game. And I think it's really important to realize you have to do 2 or 3 things really well. Don't try and do 5 or 6 things. And as a defenseman, I think it's critical for them to understand, first of all, be very, very dependable defensively. Make sure that you're always making good decisions with the puck under pressure. And, make sure that you do not lose any of your one-on-one battles, or at least take a tie. And, do 2 or 3 things really well. Break that down into the parts that are really critical to your ability to play well and contribute, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Knuckles, would Lemaire tell you when you had your one bad game? That's your one bad game, or did you just know yourself?
No, he didn't hop on me about it. There'd be times he'd say, listen, you can be better than you were tonight. He wouldn't, and if there were things that needed to be corrected, he would take me and sit me down, and I'd watch tape with him, and he'd show me certain things. This here, you turned the wrong way, or you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and his big thing with me was keeping my weight at 202, not 203, not 204, not 205, 202.
Was there a fine or anything if you were over? Or,
No, he just, come on, he gave me the business. I wish I knew how to fast back then. I didn't. And there were times, you go for a few beers, and then next day you come in, you're like 205. You're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? I got to sweat this out. And certainly would sweat it out, because Greeny would corrupt me all the time.
Always my fault. I wanted to go at midnight. You said, no, let's wait for a little bit longer, stay a little bit longer.
My chauffeur.
So does that explain why Chella used to ride the stationary bike in the sauna, Knuckles?
Yeah, you know what explains that? He's just crazy, Chelly. That's how that gets explained.
Anyway, well, that's it for this Hockey Inside Out bonus episode. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll have a couple of more bonus episodes coming up over the next few days, so look for those. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Hockey Inside Out YouTube channel. And in case you didn't already know, Hockey Inside Out is now available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.